The following video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All credit of licensed content goes to respectful owners. All rights reserved. It's been so long since I've done this. Hey guys, how's it going? And yes, I know I haven't uploaded anything on this channel in a long time. I apologize for that. But hey, on the bright side, I'm feeling better now. My voice is starting to feel strong again. It's great to be back. But you know what else is great? A new movie. From Steven Spielberg. Bridge of Spies is directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Hanks, written by Matt Charman along with the Coen Brothers. This is a dream team, guys. As far as I'm concerned, this film has Oscar potential written all over it. With minimum spoilers, the film is based on a true story about an insurance lawyer during the Cold War who is hired by the CIA to represent a man that was caught in America as a Soviet spy. And pretty much every American during the Cold War hates the Soviets, so he and his client undergo a lot of public hate and scrutiny. But being the most hated man in America is the least of his problems, actually, because guess what? The Soviets have one of our spies too. Da da da! So James Donovan, still a regular lawyer, is being forced to head to Berlin and negotiate an exchange between the Soviets and the US. Our spy for their spy. All the while trying to avoid getting shot or detained or, possibly causing World War III in the process. Yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, for the most part, you can kind of already expect greatness coming from some of the best Hollywood actors and influential filmmakers working today, collaborating on this project. From a stylistic standpoint, pretty much everything in this historical drama feels historical. For example, the staging of every scene, or should I say the mise en scene, is incredibly well executed. Pretty much everything looks like it was entirely shot on 1960s reminiscent-ish shooting locations. Not like some historical pictures that completely rely on green screen and CGI environments. But anyway, in this movie, it's not just immersive set designs that captures the Cold War atmosphere so well. We're talking about an ensemble of perfectly casted and well-dressed actors, the dramatic yet disciplined camera movement that sort of brings out the anxiety of our characters, the dark color scheme, the low-key lighting. It all works because the setting of this film seems to be connected to what the director Steven Spielberg himself experienced as a child during the Cold War. I'm 21 years old. Obviously, I've never experienced the Cold War myself, but from what I recall learning about it back in high school, nuclear warfare was imminent, and the tone of this film definitely captures that sense of paranoia and fear that everyone was probably going through. This is of course all under the scope of Spielberg's signature style of dynamic camera work combined with brilliant editing. As some of you film majors may know, a lot of Spielberg's big movies are in collaboration with cinematographer Janusz Kaminski. And his work is phenomenal. In certain film classes, they'll talk a lot about his work in The Color Purple, Saving Private Ryan. Look back at all of those films closely and you'll start to realize that compared to some other movies that actually use really dynamic and fancy cinematography, some of his techniques are actually really simple, yet superbly emotionally effective because they are timed perfectly within the script. And thankfully, Spielberg and his DP bring back that same flavor of absolutely incredible direction and coordination in Bridge of Spies. Lots of great stuff such as long tracking shots, wide yet beautifully framed compositions with powerful imagery, to even simple panning sequences that illustrate both character perspective and expression. The script is also very well written in terms of its dialogue and what I personally think is a really interesting political thing. You would think based on the plot summary of this film that this movie would actually be really patriotic, but instead, it asks us to actually challenge our nationalism. What does it mean to be patriotic? What does it mean to be a true hero? Should we act brave, fierce, and resentful toward our enemies, or should we be respectful and understanding, even when we're at war with each other? In other words, can a single man's courtesy, logical reasoning, and loyalty to the Constitution serve as a greater weapon than tanks or bombs or even nuclear missiles? These are questions our protagonist James Donovan is forced to ask. He is, after all, the lawyer of an enemy spy. But there's something that should be noted about the script. If you're not into dramas that are 100% serious and always talking about politics or the economy or historical events, that's okay. Me neither. We're actually in luck because Spielberg is a veteran director. He knows those movies don't always work. And that's why the writers of this film included some light humor every now and then, not just for the sake of comic relief, but to also show the charming side of some of our characters. However, in spite of all of this praise, I do need to address a huge gripe that a lot of young people are probably going to have with this film. It is very talkative. As much as I enjoyed it, I'm not sure if I would see this again with my friends or family. Don't get me wrong, Spielberg is one of my all-time favorite directors, and I actually enjoy a lot of historical dramas. But I feel like this movie, along with Lincoln, which is also another Spielberg film in recent years, is more of a memorable one-time experience. It's a great film with an interesting story, I just don't see myself watching it again, or at least for a while. If you're into action or visual spectacle in general, this film is not for you. If you don't like slower paced movies or just have a short attention span, this movie is definitely not for you. And if you're the type of person that gets bored to death watching movies with actors that just conversate for very, very long periods of time, this movie is definitely not for you. It is a Spielberg film, but you're not going to get that visceral, violent, bloody experience from Saving Private Ryan. There are spies and dramatic social debates, but there aren't any of those epic chase sequences you're going to find in Indiana Jones. And if you're looking for the menacing terror of Jaws, spoiler alert, the Soviets have monster sharks. No, they don't. But if you're into the kind of drama that is centered on a real story about real people in a real, surprisingly dangerous situation, presented with grade A acting and a bold political theme, you're going to have one hell of a time. I know I did, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say that Bridge of Spies is exquisite out of 10. It's definitely a movie more directed to mature audiences. I'm not gonna lie, there were no kids in the theater. I was probably the youngest person there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I am pleased to announce that as of a few months ago, I was accepted into my dream university and will be transferring there in the spring of 2016. So as of now, it's uncertain whether or not I will continue making these kind of reviews, or if I'll be pushing towards other kinds of content such as independent short films, video commentaries, tutorial requests. I honestly could use a little help deciding. So guys, please don't leave my comment section empty, and let me know what you would like to see for the future of this channel. Again, thank you so much for watching. This is Calvin C. Shinobi, and until next time, boom.